Tuperas y tuperas. Today on Dupe by the River, we're going to look back at that Saturday night match for Philadelphia Union. They point away from the New England Revolution. We're going to look at what happened at Gillette Stadium. And, of course, we're going to look at, guys, the summer transfer period is open for Europe. Will they be taking some of these Union players? We're going to be answering that question here today. And, of course, it is international break, so we're going to look at the U.S. men's national team. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to go anywhere because you do not want to miss this episode of Dupe by the River. And let's get this started, guys. Done! Dupe by the River
doesn't do anything well. There is not one.
I'm sorry. There was no creativity.
As a Union fan, I take that all day.
Another DP. We need to go get Mario Balotelli. And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to Dupe by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. And, of course, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, well, first off, thank you for tuning on in. If you guys are watching this live on the Philly YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe for all these live viewings. Of course, you may find us wherever you stream podcasts. You can find us Heidelberg. Justin, what's going on today, buddy? How you feeling?
Pretty good. It was a nice holiday weekend. I know both of us were down the shore enjoying some beautiful weather. It was a fantastic weekend. Getting away. Disconnecting, kind of just enjoying things. And now we had a friendly last night. We've had a little bit of soccer earlier. We got some soccer this weekend. Heck, I'm even traveling to Pittsburgh for a little USL action this weekend. So
the Riverhounds?
Yeah, Riverhounds, Detroit City. I'm gonna get to see some Antoine Hopenote, Union super sub. So it'll be a fun time. But listen, I'm in the soccer mood.
That's one market that I would love the MLS to try to get. Like Pittsburgh, people don't realize Pittsburgh is a really good sports town as much as, the whole Flyers and Penguins thing for myself. But no, literally, it is a really good sports town. The fact that they've never had an NBA team is ridiculous as well. But what the MLS ever think of Pittsburgh? That will definitely be interesting to see.
I don't know if I think the Riverhounds have a big enough base.
Make sure you take some pictures of sites, man. We want to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty nice things about the stadium where it's located, and at least one of my friends is a season ticket holder, so she had a number of tickets. She has been to a few matches, nice. And trust me, I'll have plenty of picks from this weekend to.
Hopefully, those tickets aren't $75, Justin.
Oh,
we'll get to that a little bit later.
I have some comments. I have some comments on that, but
no worries, man. No worries. But Justin, if I may, before we dive into today's action, I wanted to give a big thank you not only to you, Justin, in our Dupe by the River group chat, but everyone on Twitter and of course, especially Union Twitter. If you guys didn't see what happened on Monday or Tuesday, I'm sorry. I put out a tweet of just being completely open and honest with everyone. I've always tried to do that throughout my time of covering sports. Mental health is a real thing, and this is something that we've talked about constantly on this podcast, and we will continue doing that. I just voiced my latest struggles with mental health. It's something I've really never been able to talk about. And as Justin knows, one thing about me that I've always been struggling with is asking people for help. I've always just been my nature. I've always been trying to figure things out on my own and just try to tough things out. But look, I'm a human being and I go through mental issues just like everyone else. And I just wanted to thank everyone, really, especially on this platform, especially with the way our fan base is. I feel like we have a really good recognition towards mental health. And, of course, as you guys know, our direct friendship with Serotonin, obviously Justin, the starting goalkeeper as well. So I just really wanted to say thank you. And, of course, guys, we're going to open up that platform again for you guys. Like, if you are someone out there struggling with whatever it is mental health wise, like Dupe by the River is here for you. Everyone here, all of our podcasters are here available for you guys. And I just, again, want to give a big thank you and shout out to you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. And The love you guys been able to show me is just it just keeps pushing me. It does. So seriously, thank you, especially you, Justin, man. You've seen it all, man. You see me from day one till now, and I really do appreciate everything you guys have been able to do for me, man. So thank you.
No, of course, as as like you, I have been very open and honest with my mental health struggles. Despite my chipper appearance and what I convey in the pod, it's a daily struggle for me. I've had it's despite being down the shore, and I've it's been a tough week for me mentally. I've had some spirals. I've had moments where it's felt tough, and yeah, like I don't always find I don't always feel comfortable disclosing that, but I know I have the support, and it's us here. It's our community, Sporting Serotonin, the Sons of Ben, Union fandom. Mental health matters, and if anyone, and I honestly mean this, if anyone is ever having those feelings or those struggles and finding it tough, to even get out of bed, to even get on with the day, to even just do a normal routine, please reach out to me. I've been there. I know what it's like to honestly struggle, to really consider the worst possibilities, and it's not a great place. And I've told myself that I will never get to those depths again, but it's a daily thing, and we just, as I say, just waking up should help, automatically help to be a good day, but it's not that easy. And
yeah,
if anyone ever needs to talk, my DMs are always open, 100%.
Yeah, and so obviously you guys can see my name tag that my Twitter handle is there. I just put Justin's in the comment section. Guys, reach out whenever, please. We know what it's like, and we know how tough it could be. So please, definitely reach out to any of us. And to that point, Justin, like you may see us happy, and especially me, like I'm constantly making content and whatnot. But I think one thing we need to remember is like it's okay to not be okay, and I think what I've learned as well with mental health, it's a daily battle, just like anything else. Like you take it day by day. You don't worry about how you're going to feel a week from now. Just worry about how you're going to feel about today, and just take it day by day. And I think that's one thing that I'm definitely learning as the days go on. But we're here, and we're going to be okay, Justin. We're going to be okay, brother. So again, thank you.
That's always the most important thing. Even if day by day seems tough, take it hour by hour. Just see how you're feeling. I've had days where I've had a really shit morning, but then the afternoon was really good. So it was an okay day. That sometimes is even better. And you know what? That's all you can ask for. Taking
Absolutely,
it
man.
1 hour at a time, and then one day at a time.
We love you, Mike.
In the end, soccer is a community, and the fact that mental health is finally being addressed, and that it's okay to not be okay, it means a lot. And I always struggle talking about that, but it's good to feel now that you can be honest and open about your struggles, and in a sport where it's kind of always been emotion is good in the positive sense but never the negative sense. So
absolutely,
like I said, it's okay to not be okay. And for from the bottom of my heart, I love all of you, even if I always talk about how bad our fan base can be. There's not another group of chuckleheads I wouldn't rather be supporting this team with.
Hey man, with all the good, there's always the bad too, man. We do appreciate it. But Justin, let's talk about the irrelevant stuff. Let's talk about the soccer stuff of this podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, over Memorial Day weekend, we had a matchup of all matchups as our boys in blue traveled up to Foxborough to face off against Evolution in a honestly an important early Eastern Conference showdown. First off, before we get into this match, Justin, two things I want to get your opinions on. Number one, obviously, was the Parlay Kit Weekend. The Union dropped their beautiful, was it the why am I blanking on the name of them? But both the Revs and the Union had their parlay jerseys. What was your thoughts on, I guess both, but more importantly, our guys' kits?
It reminded me too much of the Atlanta
Yeah, I kind of felt
PS
the same.
Peach kit, like, or the gold kit. They did like two different versions of that nonsense. The blue ones, although like it was weird that like some teams it kind of looked purple, but it was more of a blue. I thought the blue ones were okay. I thought they were decent. The white ones, I didn't. Every time the Union they've always been having the jersey that I don't love with the parlay, and it's kind of been consistent. I didn't really love this one.
I don't know. It's for me. I love the calls. I think for me, I like more the calls than the actual kits. And I know that it
Yeah.
makes it easier when you have half the league wearing one kit and you have the other league wearing another kit. I'll be honest. Like, is there another way that we can keep this cause but not do the kits? Like, honestly, Justin, I would much rather the MLS allows these teams to come up with a third kit, and then we'll donate any money we sell towards any charity we want. But I just don't need any more parlay kits, if I'm being honest with you.
I think you could still do the parlay kits, but give some options.
Mike agrees too.
Well, yeah, like make them a warm up. Like give options, because like
That's not a bad point.
you have like the thing about the warm ups. You know with the the camo ones usually the Pride one this year was pretty good. Like
I've heard mixed reaction about that one too.
That one I loved.
I do like that too. I agree.
I couldn't justify buying it because I think I bought the one from the last year.
Just starting to run out of room in his closet there.
Yeah, like I try to save it for jerseys, and you know with like the Pride kits, like Forward Madison every year releasing their Pride kit, and I bought the one from a few years ago with the sash, and I've been like I have to like just I'll give y'all a you know I'll open the screen and the veil and show my decision making process. Despite you know my collection like tripling to base around like over 50 jerseys, I don't really buy that many jerseys anymore. One, because obviously, you know, when you have to pay rent and you have to, you know, be an adult, you have to be more pragmatic. But also, like, unless I go, wow, that kid is like amazing. Like I love these kids, but it's like I don't love them enough to buy them. So
pretty much Justin's treating his finances like Ernst Tanner does.
Yeah,
it's looking for diamonds in the rough.
Exactly. I want some. Listen, that's why my grading process is a little tougher. So people might not appreciate my standards, but as I say, as a jersey connoisseur, aficionado of sorts, I take it of the highest regard. I have tougher standards.
I hear you, man. Absolutely. The other part too I wanted to mention, Justin. I just fucking love our club, Justin. Just straight up, I just love this team, this club, this group of men that just go out there, obviously play soccer, but any type of huge social issue, they just don't care. They will go out there and make their voice be heard. And obviously, if you guys saw before the game, the warm-up T-shirts they wore the end gun violence. Obviously, I put that tweet out early in about the 3 years ago in DC when Ali scores the goal, grabs the mic, and end gun violence Congress now.
Clearly, I didn't listen.
Clearly not, right? You didn't. How do you not listen to the captain of the Philadelphia Union? What's wrong with you? But again, like I just love this club. Like I would have never thought that they would have done that. But it goes back to the MLS's back tournament, right? First game, NYCFC, they come out in the Black Lives Matter T-shirts. Dude, it's more than just sports. And like for everyone out there, like obviously now it is Pride Month, and you know you always hear those idiots like, "Oh, what's the point of doing this?" Like, dude, just Google something real quick. But again, I commend my club for doing it. But man, your thoughts on it, dude?
You know, that's the one thing that I love about Jim Curtin and the leadership. Mike,
My God,
Mike, if it were easier to get jerseys from them, I would.
Warsburg Kickers, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. But now, listen, with Jim, Jim Curtin, especially since or since he has been very vocal about speaking out on these causes, about allowing his players to have the freedom to speak out, and it has been refreshing to see that honesty, to see a coach go, you know what, I believe in this, and I believe in my players, and I will allow them to stand up for what's right, to stand up for the causes that should be championed. And Ali is not afraid to be vocal. I mean, hell, that's one of the reasons we love him here in Philly is he is not afraid to give you a piece of his damn mind and will do it no matter what it is. And especially when it comes to gun violence, especially with this, for him, for having his wife is Scandinavian, having to explain this to his wife, having young children, and having to be scared of are they going to be coming home from school alive, and standing up for just general equality, and having a very diverse team, and going, if one of my players gets pulled over, is this going to be a problem? And I think Jim Curtin goes, you know what? I want to use my platform to elevate these voices, but I'm not going to stand in the way of these players who are experiencing these things, who want to champion these causes. So 100%, it's one of the reasons I think the Union have become such a beloved, despite the fact that we say no one likes us. Well, a lot of the league is starting to understand our culture, and they like the culture that we are bringing in the locker room. It's why, despite that we're not bringing in the multi-million-dollar DPs, we're bringing in players that match the culture, that fit with the standard, the Union standard that the Ernst and Jim have worked hard to instill in a culture where, a player can go to Jim and say, you know what, I want to talk about this, whether it be on or off the field. And Jim will go, you know what, he champions himself on being a player's coach, on being open to these guys and going, hey, talk to me about what you feel, and I will listen. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jim Curtin is the best coach in Philadelphia, hands down. And
louder, Justin.
I will fight anybody that says otherwise.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Another point too, like when you think about this club, Justin, and just this first team in general, a lot of these players are young parents. And so when they see this news that's going on in Texas, the first thing they're thinking about is, my kid is in school now or is about to go to school. Like, that's a serious concern. Even like, for myself, like Nat and I, one day we do want to have kids, and how do we plan ourselves for that? Right. So it's a scary thing. Think about what we have to deal with here in America sometimes. And then to your point as well, like, dude, I love the culture we have here. And for people who want to spend money, I mean, sports are sports. Just look at what the Phillies have done. All right. See, look at what the money they spend, and look at the headaches I've been dealing with. It's funny. I put that tweet out, Justin, yesterday, that if by 7:30, the game, U.S. started at 7:30 yesterday. If by 7:30 the Phillies were losing, I was going to turn off the Phillies and put on the USMNT, and somehow the Phillies were winning by 7:30. So, but yeah, man. So I completely agree with your thoughts, but. Let's get to this match, Justin. So when we're looking at this lineup, the real question was what forwards would be yet again. It was the same 9 players behind the forwards. So Jim decided to stick with the 4-4-2, the usual suspects. Blake in goal, Wagner, Ellie, Glazes, and Harry as your back line, Flock, Martinez, Bedoya, Gazak as your midfield. They decided to go with Santos, and Paxton Aronson got the start as one of the forwards. Now, I thought this was going to be a Christmas tree when you saw this out there, but Paxton did play up top a lot. Not so much, side by side with Gazdak as those attacking midfielders. But to start off this game, look, let's be honest. Throughout most of this game, the Revs had a lot of opportunities. They had a lot of possession as well, and especially in that first half, they had a lot of shots on goal, a lot of opportunities to get a goal on the Philadelphia Union. And to start off, the goal scoring started off in the second half of this match. You had a handball situation yet again. It feels like this is always happening for the Union, but Jack Elliott gets caught with the handball, and Gustavo Bau goes up to take the PK. Andre Blake picks the right side again, but Bau gets the goal, and next thing you know, you see Gustavo's brother in the stands who looks old as hell celebrating.
I was not sure if that, like, I'm like,
he looks old, dude.
I can't just assume that's his brother. And I'm like, well, he's in the front row, and holy shit, he really does look like damn, that is.
He had Argentine flag and everything, man.
Oh my God, going ballistic. I give him credit, man.
And then 2 minutes later, Mikel Ua puts his stamp on this rivalry as guys, we can all laugh at this moment. Omar Gonzalez, everyone's favorite U.S. men's national team defender, former defender, I guess you can say now, with just a tiny bit of a blunder. He passes the ball perfectly to Mikel Ua, who just one touches it. Matt Turner really couldn't do much there, and the Union get really lucky there, and we're able to tie it up there, and that would really pretty much do it, as the Union would walk out of Gillette Stadium with a point. I'll be honest, Justin, I'll definitely take this point. I think a lot of people had a problem with just New England's attack and the way they were kind of moving on the Union. 59% possession, which is nothing out of the ordinary, as the Union don't typically like to play with possession, but 22 shots with 4 of them on target kept Andre Blake a little bit busy there. And I think that for me, what I saw, Justin, I feel like Jim's game plan was just to tire the crap out of New England. Obviously, like, New England is starting to find their stride. It's not like last week when you were going up against Portland and Portland is just inconsistent. They're really not in a good spot, and you're able to take advantage of that. Now, New England's starting to find their place. I really felt like for a majority of this match, they were tiring them out. But once, they go up, you got to get a goal. And they got really lucky on that UA goal with Gonzalez with that terrible, terrible blunder. But I'm going to throw it to you, man. What did you see here with this match on Saturday?
I saw Jim's game plan actually working. Like I don't think it's one of those things of, oh yeah, they had 22 shots, but only 4 on net. Like, I think that number, like, how Columbus Crew have all these amount of shots, but shots on net and shots are 2 different stats. If I, put a shot, 50 feet over the crossbar, that's a shot. It's not a shot on net. And yeah, Mike is right. Carranza, Ua's on the bench, which I did not honestly think he was going to be. I thought, because, I know he'd been training in full, but I was like, oh, it's one game before the break. But hey, listen, the Revolution, like I said, outside of that PK, didn't, 4 shots on net. And the PK was iffy. I think you could understand the call, but if they had reviewed it because it was so close, yeah. And Mike's right. Like, the New England was dominant in air quotes, but their chances were basically right at Andre, and the defense did what they did the most, which is mute any real chances. So their chances themselves were nothing, and you go down on the PK and it's like, man, but Omar Gonzalez, get the man I despise the most from that 2017 qualifier, the man that I credit the most with them not making it because of giving up a crappy back pass in the Honduras game for a draw and helping score an own goal against TNT in the infamous Cuva game. But my word, the one thing that you're taught in soccer, if you were anyone but the goalie, do not punt it straight up the fucking middle. And not even put it up the middle, if you're gonna boot it, put some muscle through it.
Seriously, man.
Legitimately, if you look at that play, Omar Gonzalez is kind of backtracking. He turns around, and I think even his defensive partners are like, "What's happening here?" And Uwa had literally just come on the field within 30 seconds to a minute, and I'm sure he's just he's looking at the ball screen and going, "Oh my god!" Literally, it was the easiest. Just direct it on frame, get it on net. And because I'm sure Matt Turner was caught out of position, because who would expect your fucking center back to do whatever the fuck that was? And as Mike would know, some of our Revolution friends in some of our slacks where it's like, man, Jim Curtin really how much is he paying Omar to be the double agent? I'm like, that's confidential. We can't disclose that that fee.
It's a TAM deal, which
that's what the allocation money's for, just a little hush money. But no, I think this is again another draw where I'm like, you know what? It's right before the international break. You're on again. The amount of travel that you did this month, you will not the amount of travel you did this month will dwarf the total travel for the rest of the season. It's mind blowing. And
yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what? Have you dropped some points in some of the draws? Yeah, but I'd be more disappointed with the home draws than I would the road draws, because the road draws have been in some pretty damn tough places.
Yeah,
and
man.
In this month where the most condensed, where your schedule is insane, to just get out unscathed with limited injuries. With at this point, you're now going to have a fully healthy squad for the summer run. Where in the Union's history, if Union fans seem to forget, the summer is where the Union tend to slow down. At least in June and July. August, they kind of pick it up. But they slow down. So the fact that they're finally now getting healthy, and you're still towards the top of the East, you're in second place.
NYCFC, man. Oh.
But yeah, well, because listen, they're some of their results have been. I think a little. It's a false flag here. I think they're kind of looking better than they are, and especially if Tati leaves this offseason.
If Fugazi?
Especially with if Tati leaves, I think they are still a top 4 squad. But I think they falter off, because in games where he hasn't played, they haven't looked nearly as good. They look good, but not nearly. But I think at this point, yeah, you've gotten through the tough part of your schedule in terms of congestion, and now you can settle in and just play and just play. You know what? This was a you're playing at Gillette. You're playing on turf,
playing a football stadium.
I hate games at Gillette. It's just it's so ridiculous. Crowd, just get a damn fucking soccer stadium, for the love of God. Don't
for the MLS, please.
Seriously, just get a damn stadium, for the love of God.
Real quick, Justin, I do want to give a big shout out. We got AK Gaming back. It's been a minute, AK Gaming, but hey, man, always welcome here. We do appreciate it. And listen, definitely, if you're going to the gym instead of this, we definitely commend you for it. We will remind you of AK Gaming. You don't have to watch this live. We appreciate you here. We appreciate you engaging with us. We love that. But if you're not able to watch it during its live period, you're able to rewatch this after. It's always going to be up here on this YouTube channel. And if you want, while you're at the gym, like I do, like a nut job, put it in your pods or put it in your headphones. And we're available on any streaming platform or podcast platform site. So we have options for you. But we do appreciate you coming on in here, man. And
what would you rather be doing? Would you rather be listening to us or watching your favorite striker and your favorite little
we haven't seen him in a while to talk about this.
Both start bombing it, start sucking. And hey, you listen, I'm sure Cincinnati appreciates you taking the wooden spoon from them.
They would love for that to happen. Well, though, here's the thing, though, Justin. I mean, he's got the struggles with his Fire team, but it's about the 104 or $88 million or euros, whatever it is out there. So they got Perisic. There you go. The Prem is coming back to North London, man. I'm sorry, Kid Gaming. We hate to do that to you, man. I will agree here, and my point as well. I saw a lot of the Union they wanted New England to do those cross-in services, the aerial stuff. They were. I really felt like they were just asking to do it because, all right, go ahead. We got Glazes and Ellie, and they were hitting the ball wide a lot. They look like Norwood kicking a field goal.
Is with with Carlos Heel, you can give him the time of day, but if you limit his options to playing it out wide, the Union have been really good at dealing with those kind of crosses. And for as good as Carlos Heel is, I mean, they all I kept hearing was, the Revolution's outside backs, DeJuan Jones and Brandon Bye are so amazing. It's like, yeah, we got Kai Wagner and Nate Harriel. I think I like our chances. And hey, if you keep crossing it in, we got a Viking and the Tower of London.
Yes, sir.
Defenders. Like, I'm sorry, but it's one of those things where making Carlos Heel essentially ineffective was the name of the game.
Yes, sir.
For a lot of teams that you've been playing, if you can shut down their attacking mid, their creative player, it limits their chances. And in these kind of games, the fact that their only goal came from a iffy PK, I think that just shows that the Union are able to grind out these results. And listen, not every game's a win, and sometimes you'll appreciate. So the first half of the season don't mean fuck all. Just look at Seattle for most years. Like, I understand people like, we're dropping points. Like, yeah, okay, you can be a little concerned, but like, there's also a second half of the season. So, like, you're gonna have these games. Road games are the games that are going to be ugly. At the end of the day, the road games are always ugly. Even wins, they're never pretty. They're always ugly as shit. Come on.
Justin, would you right now trade Corey Burke to return Casper back to Philadelphia?
For less allocation money, sure. I mean, as a bench option, I would
take Casper as a bench option. I said that before.
As a second striker, yeah, as a depth option, he would be an upgrade over Corey. Agreed. So, yeah. But the question is, AK, would you rather have Casper or would you rather have Corey Burke? I hate to break it to you, but Casper might be the better option right now.
Might be, man. Could there be a bigger game immediately after the break against NYC given the current standings? And also, I mean, Mike, to also throw in there too, remember what we did last time or earlier in the season in Yankee Stadium?
Well, and that's the thing. I think you have I think we might be overlooking the Cincinnati game. Although on the road, like, they're one of those teams that they either win or the Union's like they either win or they draw. With Cincinnati, it's like they either win or they lose. When they lose, it's not pretty. And I think, listen, Lucho Acosta, I think we can shut down. I'm not too concerned about him. Brandon Vasquez has been playing better, so I am a little concerned about. But yeah, I think the NYCFC game, which, of course, the game on my birthday, which I hope most people are going out for because it's my birthday and it came against NYCFC. But I think Mike's right. I think that could be. And I think that might be one of the last games Tati plays in the MLS. I'm fully convinced that he leaves for Europe. The fact that Adam Buxa is going to Ligue 1 at this point, there's no reason why Tati should not be going this summer. Like, if he stays past the summer,
I think he's on a prem, dude.
Is doing a massive disservice. Like, I would be. They talk about West Ham. You wonder if Tati might join former NYCFC alum, and also Jack Harrison at Leeds.
It's the all MLS squad.
Patrick Bamford
and Kai Wagner.
Well, Patrick Bamford wasn't able to really stay healthy last year, and I think Tati fits in a pressing type of system that kind of high energy, not nearly as high energy as Bielsa, but I could see him in there. But yeah, you know what? Listen. Leeds are going to be the all MLS team, and when they win the league in a few years, we're just going to say, listen, the MLS is just built differently.
I'm here for it, man. I'm actually here for it.
I'm here for the total shithousery, to be honest. I would love to see the face of the Euro snobs when a team of a bunch of MLSers who are now playing in the Prem win the league and just be like, yeah, you can kiss my ass.
Yes, sir. Mike, don't let the Union Twitter see this, man. You're not going to hear the end of it, man.
No, I think that was a good deal, but no, Tati had a rough start to the season.
They also had CCL to worry about. That's a real factor, guys.
But I think he also benefited from like a 3 or 4 goal game. Like he had one of those
that's true.
They crushed a team or whatever. I think it was like RSL.
Inter Miami. They had one of the.
I thought it was RSL or it was one of the games. It was a blowout, and I'm like, okay, that's padding the stats just a little bit.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, let's move forward here, Justin, because obviously it's international break time. Not only that, Justin, it is also summer transfer period. It's time for Europe to retool. We already heard a lot of crazy rumors, but like you mentioned, like we already talked about, Busca to Ligue 1, Tati possibly going to the Prem. But there are a couple prospects from our club, our senior club, that could be heading over to Europe, and I kind of want to talk about that. I'm going to start off with Kai Wagner. He's obviously been someone that's been under the radar for a lot of European teams, predominantly the Prem and the Bundesliga. Could he be returning back home, or could he be heading with Brendan, maybe Tati at Leeds? I think personally, Justin, for myself, I see Kai getting sold, but also getting loaned back to Philly. I could see him finishing out the year with the Union. I would love to see that happen, but obviously what we've heard from Kai really wants to go to Europe. Like he's really dying to go back. So I could see him getting sold off, which of course would leave a big gaping hole at the left side of the back line. But for you, what do you see playing out here for Kai?
I mean, listen, we've seen that the Prem interest was there. Leeds would actually be a really good fit because Kai has the pace and has the stamina to fit into that kind of a system. I don't know. I mean, it definitely feels like one of those things that Ernst wouldn't sell a player midseason. So that loan option seems like, I mean, think about with Brendan and with Mark, the deals were agreed upon for the winter. And I think you could say to Kai, like, hey, we are going to sell you, but can you play out the season with us? I think Kai would be dumb to turn that down, like to be like, no, I want to move now. I don't think he's that kind of player. I think especially after 2020, I think he kind of understands like, hey, I gotta keep the consistency because we remember that interest around then with West Ham, and then one bad game and the interest just dried up. Like it left. So I could see deals being agreed upon, but I don't see any players leaving in the summer, at least for us. I don't think Ernst Tanner would agree. I think Ernst wouldn't leave Jim without an option unless Ernst has a left back, in the Lithuanian 4th division. That is going to be the next. Like, I mean, Kai came in the 3rd division, so crazy to think. But unless he has an option lined up, I don't see him leaving in the summer.
I'd have to look back at it. I think we bought him for like around 1,000. So obviously Mike asks us here, what is his value? It's got to be an all-time high. So I looked up on Transfer Market right now. As of November 9th of 2021, he was valued around $3.3 million. So what we can expect 4 or 5.
I would say you could get 4 for him. I think 3.5 to 4 would be. Listen, I think if you're getting anything under 3, I think you're getting hosed. But I think 4 should be a reasonable number. If it's a Prem team, I think you get 4 to 5 realistically.
Yeah, those guys will pay it up.
Because despite their MLS player, the Union, you don't sell players like that to Europe on the cheap. Like, especially a player that highly rated. I think Ernst is going to go like, okay, I think, Kai's worth at least $4 million. And at this point, the the return on investment is insane because, you said we got him for like what, a
$200K.
Yeah, minimum money from the third division. Like this, throw in 250, 300K and selling a player for $4 million. You don't have to be an accountant like me to know that that's a pretty
Mike's
damn
got the
good.
update here.
That's a pretty damn good ROI. And I think you should shoot for at least 4. And I think all the teams in Europe, you can't cry poor with some of the money that's been going around. So I think you should shoot for at least 4 with Kai.
I agree. All right, our next player, we're going to look at Brujo Martinez. This has been a rumor past couple of years. We've heard Liga MX. Now we're hearing European teams. It's interesting because with El Brujo, I just don't think you're going to get a return that you want for him. He's also a pretty big piece of what we're trying to do over here. But like realistically, if I'm looking at what he could possibly go to, like I think like a lower level Serie A squad could be something that he could be looking at, maybe a lower level La Liga. That's just kind of what I see. I just don't see him leaving. What about you?
I think I haven't heard anything that's crazy.
That's the other thing too. Nothing concrete of rumors.
I could see him in the Bundesliga at a mid-table squad.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, think about it. The Bundesliga, he would definitely need a league that plays to his physicality, and I think you just need him in a team, a mid-table team that could compete for Europe. I think in the Bundesliga, the European spots are always up for grabs. Obviously, you have Bayern at the top and then Dortmund. But after that, it's really kind of a free-for-all.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him at a Frankfurt, at a Gladbach, at a Freiburg. Like some of these squads that are I don't know. Schalke, they seem like they've kind of gotten their shit together. But like I said, Bundesliga for me, mid-table Bundesliga seems like a solid option. I think if you have a league that tails to his physicality, I could see it, which is why for me Bundesliga isn't a crazy shout.
Also, then the Prem would work for him too. I mean, they're pretty physical now. The talent. I don't know if he's got the talent to play in the Prem. That's the issue.
I don't think the talent's the issue. It's just with the Prem has this weird thing with South American players. Like you've seen it where like a player that's really, really good somehow doesn't work in the Prem, but they'll go to Bundesliga, they'll go to La Liga or Italy and tear it up and be like easily a phenomenal player. I just think
a really good point. I never thought of that.
Like look at like how many South American players have
Carlos Tevez is like the one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, like I look back at I look back at Man U's the Marquez Rojos, maybe like Antonio Valencia was like one of the only South Americans that like really had a solid, but like you look at like all these like Sergio Aguero, European, Bernardo Silva, European, like the Prem is weirdly tailored to mostly European players. And I just can't for the life of me can't figure out why South Americans like typically just not fail, but don't live up to the expectations that they clearly can go for.
Absolutely. I'm agreeing with Mike. I think it's too early to sell Jose.
Yeah,
I think that there's not a good enough market for him right now.
If the market heats up, absolutely. But I don't see. Yeah, I can see him in France, or I assume he means Serie A. I assume autocorrect. No, listen. I think you could see him. I think you could see him at any besides the Prem. You could see him at any of the other 4 of the 5 major European leagues.
AK game at this point, I just think that he's going to be an MLS lifer.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that. With goalies, people seem to have this weird Memo Ochoa has been playing in Liga MX for at least a decade at this point.
Yeah,
he moved back from Spain. I don't think. And Andre has made his name on the international level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. What does he have to prove? He's won.
It's the World Cup. Please, Jamaica.
Well, I mean, with 2026, they might have a better shot with the expanded field and the fact that USA, Canada, and Mexico are already automatically qualified.
Yeah, man. I think what it is I think people see that there are times, I think Turner and him are 1A, 1B when it comes to the best goalies in this league. And I think that when fans see that, they're like, why isn't Blake going to Europe? But Matt Turner's going to Arsenal.
Turner's going to be a backup.
Yeah. And what's the point of that? I agree.
I've heard rumors that was it Fraser or Ben Foster from Watford, 39 years old, was talking about being the backup there. And it's like, well, then does that make Matt Turner the third goalie? And then does he get loaned out? I would say that the Matt Miazga, going to a great Prem team doesn't mean shit if you get loaned out.
Yeah. I think it's a good learning experience, but then you need to play. At the end of the day, learning by the best is great, but you need to play. That's where you really learn.
Hugh, Zach Steffen, hello.
Yeah, man.
All the shit, but you're not going to be that great of a goalie if you keep sitting on the bench.
Matty Freeze, a dark horse sale by Mike Thomas. Listen, there's a lot of clubs in the MLS that have a need at keeper. You got 2 that are pretty solid. You know my love for Matty Freeze. If there's a club that's willing to throw some money for Matt Freeze,
but I think Young. I think you're realistically, if you're not going to sell a goalie, they're going to sell Bendik. I think realistically, you're not gonna. I mean, listen. There's a reason Bendik. There's a stable of MLS veterans being. You could trade Joe Bendik for some nice game balls or some a nice turf cutting machine. Who knows? But I don't see Matty Freeze getting sold either.
Yeah, I agree, but I wouldn't hate seeing it. That's what I will say. But last but not least, Justin, Paxton Aronson. There's been a couple rumors circulating around RB Salzburg with Paxton. I've heard the argument that he hasn't played enough for him to get sold, but if you've been paying attention to MLS sales, that doesn't matter anymore. I think what you're seeing over in Europe is they are trusting these academies here in America, especially the Philadelphia Union, and the pedigree with the Aronson name already, and Paxton's got that. So this is one move I could see happening. I could see Paxton getting sold. Now, I think the negotiations where it could hold up, because I do think that the Union could get a good return on Paxton. I think that they would much rather wait and get more for him. But what do you think on Paxton?
I actually was talking about this with someone. I forget who it was. I think it was down the shore. I think someone was talking about it, and I don't see it happening soon. And yeah, players have been sold for less, but the players that have been sold for, barely any time have at least been starting for most of those that time. I think I want to see him get more game. I think you want to see him get more game time. I think it's so, his game is so raw, and you see what the blocks are there. I don't know if just throwing him to Salzburg is going to instantly. Is he just going to sit on the bench there? Is he really going to get time? The Aronson name can only go, and Paxton clearly has talent. That's not the issue. It's just are we willing to cast him off and say, hey, into that pond to go, hey, just basically throw him to the wolves and say, you'll figure this out. I don't know. I think if anyone is going to get sold out of the homegrowns, I think Jack McGlynn is
I agree with that one.
Is the first name that comes to mind for me. And then it might even be Nate Harriel next, like in a few seasons. And then Glenn, like Paxton, I think it could do Paxton some good just to at least because I think with Ali potentially stepping down within the next few years. I don't know how many years he really, or maybe more of a bench role. If Brujo gets sold, like there's gonna be spots opening up and getting rotation minutes. So I think we can press pause on this because I just don't see them shoot. Even it would have to be a pretty good offer for them to even warrant a sale at this point.
I genuinely think that Paxton's sale could potentially be bigger than Brendan's, whether that be a future sell-on clause like we did with Brendan. But I think for that reason, I think that they're going to wait with any potential sale for Brendan. So, sorry for Paxton. I'm already confusing the brothers. But I also too think that I want him to find a concrete position. Like I know he plays at 10, but like we know how European soccer is these days. Like 10s are phasing out in that level, and he's got this attack ability, and he's got this raw ability, like you mentioned as well. And how would he fit in Europe? Which I'm not really concerned because RB found a way to make Brendan work, and the dude could play anywhere essentially in the attack nowadays. But I think those are the things that I'm going to be looking for with Paxton.
Yeah, I think Paxton could be like Brendan, like Adrian Mihalovic. He could be an 8-10 hybrid. I think so, the days of the true number 10 are kind of they're not as concrete as they used to be. I think what you're seeing is a lot more of an 8-10 hybrid is the dominant go-to in a lot of these formations.
All right, last but not least here, as we got to close out soon, guys. But the men's national team, Justin, faced off yesterday. Big 3-0 victory against Morocco. Brendan Aronson, you had the Philly region connection with Hershey passing it off to Medford for the goal. That was pretty cool to see. I really want to talk real quick about the comments by Pulisic at the end of the game, though. So TQL Stadium, if you guys don't know, can hold 26,000. There was 20,000 yesterday in that stands. But the ticket prices definitely don't help packing out the stadium. For you, should there be more fans in that stands? And what is your take on that, man?
Yeah. So when those comments came out, Mike will know more than anyone. I think that the quotes at face value get a bad reaction, but again, the blame isn't on, first of all, are you really going to go to Cincinnati on a midweek for a friendly?
Come to the soup!
And I'm sorry, but the prices for those tickets
$200
are mental. I'm sorry.
Is this the NFL?
The majority of this blame, in fact, all of this blame, is on U.S. soccer. They've become so like people said, what is this? Is not like in qualifying where like a home field, like stadiums that you play well at, you want to do this is. Hey, we're prepping for the World Cup. What do you expect? Moroccan fans to pack Cincinnati, or if you go down to Austin, you expect them to pack, or Los Angeles, or it's not like a USA Mexico game where you're not gonna pick Mexico, Texas, you're not gonna pick Los Angeles, you're gonna pick Minnesota, Ohio, the thing where you feel like you're gonna get an advantage. And sorry, the ticket prices alone, U.S. soccer, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're trying to make this, you're trying to, grow the game and bring more people. What family of four is going to shell out $100 a ticket or $200 a ticket for a midweek game.
Like friendly, dude, not even qualifications.
Yeah, for a fucking friendly against Morocco. Like, what the actual fuck? This is completely asinine. It blows my mind that the higher up the U.S. Soccer go, hey, you want to see this game against Morocco? Doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, okay, you got $150. It's like are these the tickets made of gold? Like, am I getting the lower level seats? Like, what the fuck? And the biggest thing too, it's the travel. Like some people, yeah, like I know our friend Freddie from Orlando. He flying to Cincinnati or Columbus is not bad. It's a direct flight, but flying from Philly, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like I've flown to Columbus. I had to fly through Chicago. It's a giant pain in the ass. And if they're going to consistently price out fans, you're going to get less support. And then Pulisic's comments are going to ring more true. And now I know he kind of ham-fisted it, and he can be kind of a meathead at times, and it wasn't well said. But the point still stands. Like you should be paying more than $75 for a friendly ticket, and that $75 should be like, midfield, lower level. Why the fuck is someone paying $150 for like? And when it comes to like the outlaw sections, whenever U.S. Soccer gets a hold of it, they price out the wazoo. Same thing happened for the women's game when it came to the soup. The River End got co-opted by U.S. Soccer, and it was like, hey, if I put this, these certain seats at the top of the River End, it's like $35, $40. But if I want, say my normal seats in like 137, the first row, that's like $100. It's like, I'm sorry, what? U.S. Soccer blows my mind that they give more of a shit about money than they do the actual fans. I try. I don't get very conspiracy theoretical here, and I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. I'm just saying that U.S. Soccer, I think the fans are starting to be fed up with your bullshit. Like, come on.
That is definitely a good point. So I'm looking it up right now. So obviously the next match for the U.S. men's national team will be on Sunday at 5 p.m. It'll be still in the Midwest at Children's Mercy Park.
I believe, right?
Yeah, KC Stadium. So I found some tickets that are 55. I've seen some that are also 90. So they are still pretty high, but not as high as Cincinnati. But yeah, man, I mean, we're still trying to grow the sport. It is what it is, guys. And to outprice fans like that, I'm really hoping that, listen, Columbia comes here like once or twice a year. It's been different since COVID, but don't get any ideas, please, because I don't deal with that. I want to watch my national team, and that's just unfortunate, man. It really is, dude. It really is ridiculous, man. But
if Columbia comes around the area, I got a couple of my Columbia jerseys. I'll rock out. I'll rock out of the tailgate, man. Let's go.
Dupe by the river for Columbia. I'm there for that, man. That'd be a lot of fun.
Just listen. Get me some solid food, some a nice tailgate. I will.
I'll bring the guado.
Hey, I think it's not required. I feel like it's required to tailgate.
It's required.
Absolutely. Come on, man.
Absolutely, man. All right, guys, we have to sign off here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning on in. Thank you for Justin again, rocking out with me here tonight, guys. Guys, we'll be back at it next week. We'll be back at it previewing another match for the Union as they have Cincinnati. But we thank you guys on this international break episode of Dupe by the River. If you guys are watching this live, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe for the further live viewings of Dupe by the River. And, of course, you can find us wherever you stream podcasts. We're available wherever you stream them. Look it up under Dupe by the River. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Justin Union, double agent recruiter Friedberg. Of course, I go by the name El Parcero Philly. And we're telling you guys to dupe on. Talk to you.